I think it's safe to say that James Cameron has now made me wet. Jake Sully lives with his newfound family formed on the extrasolar moon Pandora. Once a familiar threat returns to finish what was previously started, Jake must work with Neytiri and the army of the Na'vi race to protect their home. Avatar: The Way of Water, starring Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Stephen Lang, and last but certainly not least, Sigourney Weaver, the legend. It's here! It's finally here, after 13 years. It's been 13 years since the original Avatar came in and absolutely destroyed the box office and, a lot of filmmaking history. I've been hearing about these sequels for a very, very long time. I remember, this was originally supposed to come out in, 2014. I remember hearing that James Cameron had, 5 sequels planned, which he still does. Which I just think is crazy. It kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed, and of course, the pandemic didn't help with that at all. But the interesting thing about the delays in this movie, it wasn't for rewrites, it wasn't for changing the story at all. This movie kept being delayed for the technology to catch up to James Cameron's vision, which I respected and just built my anticipation for this movie more and more, because the more it got delayed, the more I'm like, all right, this better look good. The first movie, it still holds up today. It looks better than most big budget blockbusters that have come out today. It looks better than most of those, especially even this year. Do I need to remind you of Thor: Love and Thunder? So yeah, I was a little nervous about this movie. And of course, when the first trailer came out, there's the big discussion of, does anybody care anymore? Has James Cameron missed the opportunity to start a franchise? Is it too late? And I had those thoughts too when I saw the first trailer, but the more and more I looked at it, the more and more I was like, this looks visually stunning. This looks incredible. This looks really interesting. And I read up a lot on the behind the scenes, and Kate Winslet had to hold her breath, actually held her breath for 7 minutes and 48 seconds, I believe. I'll double check on that exact timing for a take in this movie. And just the technology that they created to do motion capture underwater was extremely interesting, and I was really curious to see how that paid off. So yeah, needless to say, I was very excited, a little nervous, mostly excited, and very curious to see this movie. And I've seen it. Does it hold up to the original? Is it better than the original? And is it worth the wait? And I really gotta say yes. This year, 2022, is proven itself to be one of the best years for movies. We have so many good movies. I'll throw up some examples that came out this year, especially blockbusters. This year has really revived the classic blockbuster for me. This movie, it's 3 hours long. It's a little over 3 hours long, which is a long time, but there is never a moment where you're not looking at something absolutely incredible, groundbreaking, mind-blowing. The visuals in this movie are just insane, that I didn't even notice the 3 hours, because I was just stunned at what I was seeing the whole time. If James Cameron was like, I discovered an alien planet and I went there and filmed a documentary about people vibing out there, I would believe him. It looks that good. You can't distinguish what is real and what is not. I genuinely have no idea how they did this. I mean, I have somewhat of an idea because I did some research on the stuff that the techniques that they used and the training that the actors went through, but watching this movie, it's really mind-blowing what they accomplished. It's the best visual effects I have ever seen, period, in any movie ever. And I think this is the most immersive theater experience I have ever had. And a large part of that immersion is due to, surprisingly enough, 3D. It's back, baby. It's back with a vengeance. And Daddy Cameron is bringing it to you. God damn it, so stupid. No, I saw this movie in IMAX 3D, which is how I'm going to recommend everybody go see it, because James Cameron shot this movie in 48 frames per second, which gives it a much crisper look. And other movies that have done that before don't look that good, they look kind of poopy. So I was a little nervous about the 48 frames per second, but when I was watching the movie, I realized why he did it, and it was for the 3D. You know, it was to get those motions to look a little bit more crisper, a little more like fluid. So when you're watching it in 3D, everything just looks like it's real, and it's just like you're in there. And speaking of things that are real and make you feel like you're there, like, don't even get me started on the water. Like, I just wanted to jump in, swim. I wanted to drink all of this water. I just wanted to splash around so bad. I felt like I was in there. There's a scene in the movie where it's raining, and I swear to God, I felt the rain. I didn't literally feel it, but it looked so good that like I felt like I was there with them and it was raining on me. Don't know how that's possible, but it happened, and James Cameron did it. The story in this movie, I'm gonna move to the story now. The story in this movie, like I know a lot of people give the original Avatar movie a lot of crap because of its story. People say it's basic, it's Pocahontas, it's Ferngully, it's Dances with Wolves. I get it. Yeah, you know, it's a pretty basic story that's been told a bunch of times. And the story in this one isn't all that new either. It's not Pocahontas, it's not, you know, like last time, but it is a simple story. And I really do think that is the trick with these movies. You know, these movies are a showcase for tech, you know, for filmmaking achievements. I've heard some people complain that they don't want to come see a tech demo or, you know, all that stuff for a movie, but I have to disagree with you. I want to see somebody push that edge and show it off. If somebody has accomplished what they accomplished with this movie with the visual effects, you give me a bunch of scenes of people just swimming around and like whales and fish swimming around on the screen in front of me. I want you to show it off. I want you to flaunt it because I want you to prove how good it is, and they do that in this movie. But the story is pretty basic. It's nothing new. It's a story that's been told before, you know. You kind of, you know, protect the ones you love, family on the run from someone who is after them. You know, it's nothing new, but I think that is the trick, though, with these movies, is you have this amazing scenery and all these amazing visuals and this incredible world that James Cameron has just come up with, and you pair that with a more simple story that everybody can get and understand and digest and enjoy. It's not trying to be the next masterpiece in writing. These movies are trying to suck you into the world and just be general blockbuster crowd pleasers, which is what they are, you know. And you will realize that when you get to the third act of this movie, which is just some of the most satisfying shit. It's just, I was cackling like a witch in my seat watching these bad guys get it. It was just so good. So yeah, the story is a bit basic, but it is told in a very good way. Like, it's executed really well in terms of like the characters in this movie, which I guess is what I'm going to jump into now. The characters, we're following Jake and Neytiri after the last movie. Jake is now officially Na'vi. Him and Neytiri have a few kids, and we're catching up with their family life and seeing how they're doing. And I like Jake a little bit more this time around. I like him as a father. I don't, you know, it adds more dimension to him. In the last movie, he was just kind of your generic white Marine protagonist who learns to love the indigenous people and, you know, turns on the humans and stuff. And this movie, it's a little bit more complicated. He is now a father, and, you know, humans are back, and he's got to protect his kids, but he also really wants to fight, but he doesn't want his kids to get in danger. And there's just some good dynamics, you know. There's some really good layers with Jake in this movie. Neytiri, on the other hand, kind of gets sidelined. But the thing is, though, Zoe Saldana she's such a good actress that, like, any scene that she's in, like, she absolutely crushes. You know, she crushes it on that screen. Like, especially in the emotional scenes, she absolutely destroys them. Like, she is so good. Hold on a second. There's a dog scratching at my door. It wasn't a dog. It was my roommate's cat. Say hello to Saki. Saki, say hello. Yeah, he gave a little wave. All right. I'm gonna get him out of here because there's expensive lights and I don't want him to join. Come on, Sock. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. What was I talking about? Characters? Yeah, Zoe Saldana absolutely crushes it. Her character gets kind of sidelined, but when she's on screen, she absolutely shines, especially in the more emotional scenes. The character of Jake, he has a lot more dimensions and layers, which I really enjoyed, especially him being a father this time around. We spent a lot of time talking about the good guys, right? Let's talk about the bad guys. Stephen Lang comes back as Colonel Quidditch. He comes back as the Colonel. I don't know how to pronounce his character's name. I'll have to go see the movie again, I guess. Boo-hoo. In the last movie, I really liked him in the last movie. Even though his character was a little one-note, just military angry man. In this movie, he has, just like Jake, more layers. He's a little bit more complex of a character. He is still pretty much like the same angry, evil military guy, you know? But man, oh man, do you hate him by the end of this movie? You hate him so much, in a good way, but oh man, you hate him so much, and you just want to see someone just fucking punch him in the face, you know, like, and I won't spoil anything, but the third act is very satisfying because the humans are just the worst. Like, we suck, guys. What's going on? There's no redeeming factors about humans in this movie, which I, for one, kind of love. And you just really want to see them get what they deserve by the end of this movie. And the third act of this movie is so satisfying. And I feel like it's what a lot of people are going to be talking about. Because, I mean, honestly, I didn't know where the sequel is going to go because so long Avatar has just been a solo movie for me. I had no idea where they were going to go, so there were stakes at the end of this finale. I didn't know who was going to live, who was going to die, what was going to go down, how are they going to continue after this. So the finale in this movie is a lot of fun, and it's super entertaining and super satisfying. So yeah, let me think. Is there anything else I want to say? Yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Yeah, so Avatar: The Way of Water, a fantastic sequel to a really good first movie. I think this movie surpasses it in a lot of ways. Technically, it definitely surpasses it technically. It surpasses its original movie with the story, I think with writing, although James Cameron does still write his movies like he's in the 80s, especially villains, which I kind of like cheesy villain dialogue, but it might not be everyone's cup of tea, you know? So be prepared for some cheesy lines. The characters are more deep and layered. The story is still simple, but it's effective in the way it's executed. And I'll say it one more time, the visuals are worth the price of admission alone. See this movie on the biggest screen you can. I would recommend you see it in 3D. The 3D, it's not a gimmick in this movie. It is a tool used to make this movie as immersive as possible. And I mean, I didn't even really realize how immersed I was into the movie until like our theater glitched out at one point in the movie and the 3D randomly shut off. And I didn't realize how immersed into the movie I was until the 3D randomly shut off and my glasses weren't working and I was like, what's going on? But it really like snapped me out and I realized how sucked into this movie I was. So yeah, I love this movie. I am definitely gonna recommend you go see it. It's just, it's filled with emotion, it's got amazing world building, and it's just beautiful to look at. It's peak blockbuster escapism, which, I don't know, this week has been finals week for me, so it's kind of what I needed at the end of the week, just to live in the oceans of Pandora for 3 hours, you know? So go see this movie. These are the type of blockbusters that we need right now, and I know this is a big IP, but it's still like an original thing that James Cameron just like made up, you know, which is pretty cool. So go check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video and you want to see more, you know where to find them because you found this video right here. So subscribe, stick around for a while. Thanks for watching, and comment down below what you think about Avatar, about the first one, or if you saw this one. Let's talk about this movie. I have a lot I want to say about it, but obviously I don't want to spoil anything. But we can talk spoilers in the comments. So if you haven't seen this movie, don't look in the comments. So yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe, hit that bell icon so you can be notified of my next video. Thank you. Peace.